Gamepass in review. This week we're taking a look at two titles, Outriders and Octopath Traveler, both from Square Enix, so we'll see how these titles shape up. We're going to start with Outriders, developed by People Can Fly and published by Square Enix, as I mentioned. Now this might be the newest title we've ever reviewed here on Gamepass in review, and it was a big title, April 1st release date, highly anticipated. Not many expectations on the title, to be fair, even though it was kind of anticipated. But how did Outriders actually hold up once you get your hands on it? Is it the looter shooter to save all looter shooters? Well, we'll dive into that. But I want to start initially with the story of Outriders, because the story is not strong in this game. There's no way around it. It is a B-rate sci-fi story where you leave Earth because it's falling apart, go to a distant planet, you get frozen for 30 years, you jump forward, things have gone to shit, you get magic powers, you start traveling across the land. I mean, the story isn't really what you play the game for here, and at points it often feels like People Can Fly made the story a little bit silly on purpose, and not in a good way. Like, there's humorous bits, there's like two parts I can think of in my mind immediately that are like laugh out loud funny, but the other parts are funny because it feels like it's so badly written at points. I'm pretty sure that I could have written a better story for Outriders, but what they went with, the acting decisions, it all makes it pretty humorous to actually watch the cutscenes. So while the story isn't the best part, it's fine. Like, it's not, does it add to the game? No. It doesn't detract. Some of the side quests are pretty interesting. I actually enjoyed those. There's one cutscene that's really well done in this game. It's absolutely gorgeous. Otherwise, for a disappointing visual style, some of the game looks good and it does run well, 4K 60 on the Series X and PS5. But in terms of actual art style, this game kind of looks more last generation than next generation, and that was a little disappointing. Now, if we move into the actual, gameplay, looter shooter, it's third person, it's cover based, and I use the term cover based loosely because you're not really meant to use the cover in this game. It's an odd thing they got going on. They designed these levels, which are horribly designed, by the way. It's Gears of War 1 style, where you run in through corridors, you come out to these big open areas with random walls and coverings everywhere. Like, it does not look good. It doesn't flow with the scenery. It looks like someone just planted this stuff there. But anyway, you get there, you're like, alright, time to take cover. No, don't take cover. Stand out in the open, use your abilities, and shoot the hell out of people, because that's what People Can Fly want you to do. They want you in the enemy's face, using your abilities, because that's how you heal. The whole point of this game is to use your abilities. The guns are secondary. They get some cool mods and attachments, which I think really shine in this game. The mod system is fantastic, but your abilities and finding ways to amp those up, whether it's the Devastator, becoming more tanky, the Technomancer, getting your abilities, your freeze, your poison, your healing, whatever, infinite ammo. That's a big one for that build. Or just, the Pyromancer, lighting everything on fire, killing ads instantly. There are so many different ways to use your abilities to murder mobs in this game, and it is satisfying as hell. I think the gameplay is actually something that they got right in this game, because it's really satisfying, it feels good to play. Using the abilities is a ton of fun. While the higher world tiers, the opponents can feel a little spongy. It's never too bad if you're well geared. If you have the right equipment on the right enemies, then you're gonna do just fine. Now, my big problem with Outriders, and it is a problem, is the game is not well made. There are constant connection issues, whether it be disconnecting from whoever you're playing with because you use peer-to-peer servers, whether it be the servers just kicking you off in general, whether it be the game crashing to the home screen, or the biggest one I encountered personally, the inventory wipe glitch, where I had my Devastator, enjoying the game on a Sunday, and then my entire character gone. All my gear that I grinded for, gone. And as I'm recording this, it has been over 2 weeks, and we still do not have a fix. So what I did was leveled up a Trickster from 1 to 30. I beat the whole story on that, started the end game on that, and the Trickster was a lot of fun. I'm not saying like, oh, I didn't enjoy my time with the Trickster. I wanted my Devastator, but Trickster was fine. I only wish that they would fix the issues with this game. And I think it might be a little too late as the time of recording this. We're about a month out from release, and I can't see if these issues continue, the game is going to die. It's already struggling enough as it is. And it's a shame because the game is fun. It's the first looter shooter that I've actually enjoyed, and it's because it's not a live service game. It's because I know there's an end. I can put it down wherever I want. I can come back. I'm not missing anything. And that's a shame. Because I think People Can Fly have a good basis here. They have a good foundation for going forward. You know, they clearly wanted the game to be something, but they just have so many technical issues that's holding it back, and that is so disappointing to see. Now, do I like the game? Yes, I do like the game. I'm not as high on it as my initial impression, probably due to all the issues. After you beat the game, there isn't really much to do, and I know I said it's not a live service game, that's fine, but the expeditions are not great. They're, speed running through environments trying to get loot, and the loot they give you is pretty bad. Like, it takes a while to actually start getting stuff, so I don't know how long I'm going to stick with the end game in this. It's really disappointing. I hope they kind of revamp that system, or maybe add a different sort of end game in there for us. I'm not saying live service. I'm not saying anything like that. If this is what they want, that's fine. But, you can't expect players to stick around and keep grinding for stuff. Now, I only think Outriders should be played with other people. I do not think you should play this solo. And I say that because the world tier system in the story, before you get to the end game, is terrible. You gain the same amount of experience on any world tier, and all the world tier does is make enemies more spongy and gives you better loot. And that sounds great, right? Well, the better loot is great, but eventually, especially if you're a one of the squishier classes, not spongy, you could struggle single player on higher world tiers because you can't take many bullets, and the Devastator, well, he can take bullets, can struggle to kill by himself. So it gets to the point where it's not really based around single player. It really needs you to be in a squad with those other classes and everyone working together to clear those higher world tiers. And especially when you get to the expeditions, you cannot do expeditions alone. You just can't. There's no possible way. If you want to be successful, you have to play with other people. And I think that's the most fun in this game, honestly. I played the whole game multiplayer with 2 people, and it's the most fun I've had in a while. So, Outriders, story's meh. Visuals are alright. They're decent. Gameplay is good. The gameplay is good, I will give you that. The technical issues are terrible. They're incredibly buggy. People flying in the sky, enemies flying in the sky, inventory is getting wiped, and that brings it down a lot. I do think this game exceeded my expectations because I didn't have any. And when we originally, when I was originally playing this game on the Impressions podcast, I was like, this game probably sits about an 8 for me. I think at the moment it's probably more of a 6. 6 out of 10 is what I would give Outriders. And I think this is probably the end for Outriders, and for me, I don't see me playing much more unless they completely revamp stuff. But I had my fun time with it. It's a good game. I recommend anyone check it out after they fix the issues. Please hold off. They have not fixed all the issues. So this is definitely one where it's like, it's on Game Pass. It's probably going to stay on Game Pass. There's no rush to jump in. Wait until all the patches come out. Wait until they fix everything. And then dive in and play the game as it was intended and not with all these issues. Because there is a good game hidden under all the technical issues. So Project X Talk is going to give Outriders a 6 out of 10 for me, personally, at the moment. I think the other guys would probably agree with me. I know they fell off it pretty quick. Now, we're going to transition to Square Enix's other game that they put on with Outriders, and that's Octopath Traveler. And this was a game that I've heard a lot about, mainly because in the Switch community, it's held as like one of the titles you need to have on the Switch. You need to play Octopath Traveler. It's an amazing JRPG, and I honestly, like, the art style kind of put me off on the Switch. I was like, I don't really want to play this game, but came to Game Pass. There was nothing else to play, so I checked it out, and to my surprise, it's actually really good. The way it works is you pick a starting character, you play through their story, and each character has 4 story arcs, and there's 8 characters total. Now you don't have to do all 8. You can pick only 4. You can pick only 1. You can pick all 8. You can do whatever you want. It lets you travel around the map, collecting all the characters and doing the quest. My only issue is, one, the map sucks, first of all. The map is terrible in this game. It's absolutely horrendous. Knowing which way to go, do not use the map. You will get lost and not find anything. But underneath all that is good characters with good stories and good character development. Now, I think the combat system is great. The having to find weaknesses, to break down shields, to attack the enemy, it's great. This is a classic JRPG, and if you love JRPGs, you will love this game. I love this game, my friends love this game. It was absolutely fantastic. My big issue comes was that you're gonna have to grind. I don't like forced grinding, but there is forced grinding in this game. They're going to make you grind and grind because they're going to set the level requirements for additional like after you beat chapter 1, chapter 2, you're gonna have to be in your mid-20s to beat. And you're not going to be in your mid-20s after you collect all the characters. You're going to be in your late teens. So you're going to have to grind, and this pattern continues for the rest of the chapters. So if you don't like grinding, I don't think this is probably for you. I know grinding is a big thing in JRPGs, especially old school ones, but I feel like we've kind of moved away from the forced grinding. I wish there was a way for me to level up faster, so that is a drawback in my opinion. Another drawback is the game does not have full voice acting. It gets a little dull reading all the text. While the stories are interesting, I can't read everything. Like, it gets so boring, especially when you're like trying to do other things. I wish there was just some narration that I could hear through the story. And I know I'm nitpicking because there honestly isn't that many issues with this game. It runs flawlessly. The art style actually looks beautiful, especially on the Series X where it has that auto HDR. It's great. So those are my only 2 real complaints. Story, gameplay wise, great. Visuals, art style, music, everything's phenomenal except probably the map and the forced grinding. Those are my 2 big issues with the game, and that's why I'm really slogging through it. I don't know if I will finish it. I will try my best, but there's other games coming out that I want to play, so this is probably going to be like a hanging my backlog if something doesn't happen. But in terms of just looking at this from a critical standpoint, where is Octopath Traveler? Is it as good as everyone was saying on the Switch? I think it is. I think it is a good JRPG, and JRPG fans should definitely check it out if they have Game Pass. For me, I'm going to say our Project X Talk rating is going to be an 8 out of 10. And I say that, if I could give it, maybe an 8.5 would be more accurate. 8.5, if I'm being real with you guys, based on our criteria, which I don't think we've ever told anyone. We do have a criteria checklist for when we review these games. We have a quality assurance checklist that we go through. We don't just arbitrarily throw out numbers, and we developed a review system. So for me, it's probably an 8.5 out of 10 based on the criteria we've established. I think an 8 is a little too low. I can't give it a 9 just because of the drawbacks in the game, but it's almost the perfect JRPG, especially for old school fans. So I highly recommend you guys check this out. So to summarize, Outriders, good, not great, lots of issues, 6 out of 10. Octopath, barely any issues, fantastic old school JRPG. Definitely check it out if you haven't. And we're going to give that one an 8.5 out of 10. So that's going to do it for Game Pass in review. If you guys have played these games, please let me know how your experience is, especially with Outriders. I want to know if you guys are having the same issues. How's your experience going? Are you liking the end game? Are you liking the story? I've seen some people say the story is good, and I expected more from the demo, to be honest. I was like, oh, this is gonna be like a B-rate Mass Effect, and it was a little worse than that. But I think the game overall was good. I got shut up about Outriders. I keep going on and on about it. Now, remember, guys, please hit the subscribe button if you like the reviews. This one's a little less scripted, more just off the cuff than we have been doing. I'm trying to get more into just talking with you guys instead of reading from a script and less personal. So just going out there. Let me know if you like this format better than the other one. Like, share, subscribe, all that. I'm Kevin, aka the Muffin Mon. We have a Project X Talk. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.